Hi, everybody. It's meteorologist Joe Chaffee. Middle of the week Wednesday, as our nor'easter is going goodbye. Still a bit on the breezy side in some places. We've got northwest winds, west northwest to northwest winds. We're getting some gusts into the mid and high 20s. The clearing has been a bit of a struggle, and especially in places along the shore and to the east. I'll show you on the satellite in a second, but as far as temperatures go, you can see them here. They're all in the mid to upper 40s, even a few 50-degree readings starting to show up across south central PA, north central Maryland, down into southern New Jersey, and up into the Hudson Valley. And you go further north, it's more upper 30s and lower 40s. These areas still have sleet cover from what this system did over the last few days. Now, here's the satellite view this morning, and you can see the center of circulation right here, well east of Cape Cod. But, we still don't have that good, dry, strong push behind it. So there's quite a bit of low cloudiness that's still hanging back. There are breaks as you start to go from western Long Island down through New York City. So, drier air is attempting to come in. So we should see, I think, at least some sunshine during this afternoon. And then out to the west, the next weather system's getting ready as a low moves toward the Great Lakes, and we have a cold front that'll be coming through here. This is going to start the process of a stair-step chill down. We're going to be in a pattern here that appears to me where we're going to just get these cold fronts that'll be coming through every couple of days, and each one is going to have a slightly colder air mass behind it. So here's the first one that moves through on Thursday. We get a few showers late tonight, early Thursday morning, then they go away. And then we start to see colder air on northwest winds. There's actually one feature across the United States where you have a high that's sitting in eastern Idaho, and there's a low in eastern Canada. And that's it. There's nothing else. And this is going to be the case as we go into the weekend. So the weather across the country is going to be relatively calm and quiet. Now, with these disturbances that are going to be coming down in the northern jet, you can start to see here how the isobar just sort of stretches out. So there's another weather front here, a little low that forms in upstate New York. There's a weather front here that comes down. And, the upper air disturbance that's associated with this is impressive enough. But the problem is that even though it's trying to make some kind of low center offshore, there's no room. There's just simply no room for anything really to develop. So that goes out. And we're now, moving ourselves along into day 6 and 7. And there's another system in the northern stream that is coming down. So we're going to get cold over the weekend into next week. This is a halfway decent shot of cold air. I mean, it's not going to be anything brutal, but, for a change, it's certainly going to take temperatures below normal. And by the way, I was looking at the New York stats today because I haven't been paying attention. The month is running 5 degrees above normal, even though the snowfall actually, believe it or not, is close to average because of the two events that happened. But 5 degrees above normal, and that I was really surprised to see how high it was. I forgot that we had those days that we had temperatures in the 60s. And with December being right around or a couple of ticks above normal, the winter is running 2.5 to 3 degrees above average. So, I think if that's not a testament to why people shouldn't make winter forecasts, I don't know what is. Because I don't think I saw anybody that said that, maybe there is. I'm sure there were some people that were forecasting warmer than average temperatures for the December-January timeframe. And you know what? You're the winner, and everybody else is not, and that's just the way it is. So anyhow, let's roll along here. And there's this next weather front. And remember, folks, there's nothing that says it can't be cold and dry. And this is what it looks like for the time being. We're going now into day 7. And this is the new GFS, which takes us to day 8. So we have another weak front that comes through around February 1st. So barring any last-minute changes or surprises, we are going to be pretty quiet for the next week. Now, as we get into next week, you start to see something come into the Pacific. So I'm going to go back to the prior run because we don't have enough of this GFS run to go look far enough and see where what it does with this. And it brings the system inland and then gradually brings it across. And you can see on now we're talking day 11 and 12 on the old GFS run, tried to make some kind of snow event along the East Coast with a high to the north and low pressure swinging out to the south. Now I think it's reasonable to assume that something, it can't be really literally cold and dry forever. So we'll have to wait for that Pacific to open up again and to start bringing in weather systems. Now let's look at the upper air and we'll see what's going on. I'm going to go on the wider view, and there we have it. Amazing, 5 degrees above normal. Shows you what happens when you don't pay attention. So here's the jet stream pattern. We're looking at last night's run, and then we'll see what today's run, how much of that we have. But one of the things that gets established here, you see it over the weekend, you get this, you do have this flow back to Canada, but you also have this big ridge out in the west. So we no longer have that flow from the Pacific. That's not happening anymore. We don't have these weather systems coming into the Pacific and into California. They're kind of locked away out in the central Pacific along the longitude of Hawaii. So until this, some of this ridge has to break down. Ideally what you would like is the southern part of the ridge to be replaced by a trough and have a ridge up in the north and what we would call a split flow. But I'm not sure that seems to be in the cards. Now, as we go forward from last night, you can see the changes that happen in the west. The ridge disappears. So you kind of have here, as we move along, here's what I'm talking about in terms of the split flow. You've got a southern stream jet in the Pacific, and you have a polar flow coming down out of Canada. So this would be the kind of thing that might be favorable for some winter weather and snow in the east. And as we move along, the model last night seemed to want to keep, at least going into the first 10 days of the month, this general cold flow out of Canada. So my general feeling on this is that we oftentimes, even in the worst of patterns, seem to be able to find something that pops up that creates some sort of snowstorm somewhere. But the big question is where. I suspect that at some point during the first 2 weeks of February, something is going to try and happen someplace. How it evolves remains to be seen, of course. And when we look at the upper flow, I'll go back because we have a little bit more. This is the new GFS run, so let's see how much we have of this. And there's that. You see the flow that gets set up out of Canada, so that's pretty consistent. And here comes the next one. So you get cold front after cold front, and then you start to get. See, now it's a little different out in the west. Let me just show you by comparison from the old run. So here's the old run, and here's the new run. Okay, so it seems that on the old run, it wanted to keep you have this system that's setting up here so that the flow is somewhat split. All right, that's on the old run. The new run, on the other hand, has it a little differently. It kind of wants to bodily take in this system into the northwest. It still has that flow from Canada, but it's a little different in terms of its overall perspective. Got this big blocking high up over the Bering Straits. This is having impact in driving the pattern. So we're going to have to watch to see how that plays out over time. There isn't a whole lot of blocking going on in the Atlantic at this point, but we'll just have to see what the next few runs do, and let me just see how much of the surface is in, because that at least we can go might be able to go a little further. Sometimes the surface maps are out a little bit faster than the upper air, but nope, they seem to be in sync here. But you do see, just backing it up, there's those weather front after weather front coming into the east. So it's cold for a couple of days. It warms up a little bit for a day, then you get it to be cold again. But here we have another significant system coming into the west. So this seems to be the timing on the models that sometime around February 1st, 2nd, you're going to have something coming into the west, which means that probably it will be around February 5th, 6th that we could have something here in the east, but who knows how it all plays out, because that is the mystery of weather, folks. For as much as you think everybody knows something, after a few days, and even sometimes inside a few days, we really don't know. We just don't. You see how we struggle in the short range with some of these storms. We're trying to figure out things down almost to the street, and it's very, very hard. So you can imagine how difficult it is to look at something that changes so radically sometimes every 6 hours when a new model run comes out. So we will just move along and have a great rest of your Wednesday. Weather posts on meteorologistjoechaffee.com, weatherlongisland.com, nycweathernow.com, where Angry Ben posts his opinions. If you're still watching this video, I'm suspecting you like it. And if you do, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's absolutely free, always will be free. And it really helps me out with my standing with Google, because they like you better when you use their stuff. So I really would appreciate it. And don't forget, there's also my app if you'd like. You can download that. Subscribe to my forecast for New York, New Jersey, Long Island, Connecticut, Hudson Valley, and Eastern Pennsylvania. It's just 99 cents a month. Okay, so you can actually, it's as cheap as anything you would buy in a dollar store, and you'll get the local forecast. You get me. You don't get some computer generated icons and that sort of nonsense, because that stuff's just nonsense. So have a great day. Talk to you soon.